I think it's going to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Top 10 players in this game for Sunday. Obviously,
how many do we have
Watson's
to take
not on the list. We're going to throw. If you want to pick Njoku, he's playing. Let's.
Is
put
this
him
like
out.
is this like the MLB All-Star game where you have to have a representative? Do we have to have Browns?
Listen, I've only got 2 or 3.
Myles Garrett doesn't make the list.
All right, fair.
No, Myles is on the list.
Myles on the list.
I'll just start with my number 1 pick is Nick Bosa. Someone tell me I'm wrong.
I'd go with Christian McCaffrey.
What you mean for like players?
Yeah, best player in this game. Who is it?
Myles Garrett.
Wow.
I have someone different than.
Okay, so wait.
I knew this was going to happen.
He's going to break the tie. We don't need to go to you.
No, because he could go with the other person who I'm thinking.
I mean, if he goes with
Go
the
ahead,
fourth
Mikey.
person.
Go ahead.
Well, wait. No, he's a tiebreaker. Who do you have?
I lied. Sorry. Listen, for this game, I would go with Brock Purdy. He's the quarterback.
That's not who I was going.
Well,
with.
he's the quarterback.
No, but we're not
position.
factoring that in. It's the
You talk about
the
best
importance
player.
of the position. You're going by the best. You're picking the best player.
Well, Myles Garrett then.
Okay, so who are you going with?
I don't know. This is so hard.
I know, guys. I struggled forever because I was. It was either Myles.
I'm leaning
or
Bosa
Nick.
or Trent Williams. Actually, I'm
Okay,
leaning
but
Bosa or Trent Williams.
Well, you make the pick, and it tells you the talent in this game.
That's exactly it.
If we have 4
Yes.
and maybe 5 different names,
I'm going to say Trent Williams. I'm
And
going
that
to
means
say
Trent Williams is the first pick.
Because that would have been your
That's
pick.
who I was going
Okay.
with.
Yeah, I'm going to say Trent Williams.
Well, then Trent Williams in the 1 slot. I disagree with that. I had him down at number 4.
He's the number 1 left tackle in football.
He
right now.
is. There's no question about that.
So Christian McCaffrey's the number 1 running back in football.
But
right
with
now.
what he's got on the other side of him on Sunday and what he has to deal with makes him even more important.
Well, you
Makes
could
Trent
say the
Williams
same thing
even
to
more
Myles
important.
Garrett.
Well, sure, but I'm going the other way of protecting the quarterback.
Okay.
So I'm going to
There's
say
real
Trent.
quick on Trent Williams. There's some really smart football people out there who say Trent Williams, because of position, he doesn't get talked about in the same
No, I
vein
know he
as
doesn't.
like Aaron Donald and Mahomes. of
Especially
being
on that team.
That much better than everybody else at that respective position. And when you go, he has 100% pass blocking efficiency.
I know
rate
he
this
does.
year. Like the
And-
numbers are just stupid.
And here's the thing. We talk about all of these stars that they have on offense. Well, maybe this is proof that the epicenter of an offense is that position.
And Mike, what running back is close to Christian McCaffrey right now?
No, I'm not saying there's a
now.
running back
Yeah.
close. I'm just saying I think Trent Williams deserves to be in the conversation with the Aaron Donalds
course
and
he does.
Mahomes. As
You
in
can
that
make this
top,
argument.
top,
You
top,
can
top,
make this
top
argument.
tier.
Trent Williams makes all of the offensive players better. I think McCaffrey does too, but he doesn't make Trent Williams better. And I do think Trent Williams makes McCaffrey better.
Remember when the Browns could have had Trent Williams? Remember when?
I do remember that.
Remember that?
Once upon a time.
That was awesome.
All
All
right,
right,
we've got Jed Wills. Let's not.
Number two.
Number two.
Number 2. Who are you guys going
Christian
with?
McCaffrey.
So, yeah, because your guy's still on the board, so you're
Yeah.
going to still take him.
Myles Garrett.
I would say McCaffrey.
I'm going with Nick Bosa, the Defensive Player of the Year.
Gee.
So it's
I already told
McCaffrey.
you.
No, it's McCaffrey. 'cause he's got 2
McCaffrey's in it
votes.
too.
McCaffrey's number 2.
McCaffrey's
with 2
number
votes.
2.
And now I'd say Myles at 3.
Okay, and you're still going Myles.
I'm going Myles.
Okay, I'm still going Nick.
So Myles
Myles
at
is
3.
3.
I mean, guys, are we being homers here in saying that Myles is better than Nick?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I think we are. I mean, Nick
No.
was the Defensive Player of the Year last year.
I mean, Myles Garrett has nobody on his defense last year.
I get that.
You got to factor.
But he
just,
does this
Just
year.
like our arguments with Brock Purdy, you got to factor in who they're playing against. Myles Garrett is not. Oh, Myles Garrett is 3, and then Bosa.
Bosa
Yeah, I
4.
think we're all agreeing.
Now,
Bosa's
now let's
4.
be clear. Now, I got to throw Max Crosby is a bad boy now. Max
but we're
Crosby's creeping up there, but I would put him. Michael Parsons, Bosa, Miles Crosby probably
I
before.
just
Miles
didn't say-
Garrett, Max Crosby.
Ultimately, what decided what is the not that they're the Bible, but on the who did the top 100? NFL Network,
Yeah.
or is it NFL? Okay,
I
where
think
are
Bosa
those
was
pla-
4.
Was he that high? Where
Yeah,
was?
and Miles was like 19 or 20 or something
Yeah,
like that.
I think that's low. That's egregious. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that we have. I
Yeah,
think
Miles
I
was
think
20,
it's
by
I think
the
it's a
way.
homer pick putting Miles over Nick.
Miles was also behind George Kittle on that list, which shows
Yeah, that's
you how
egregious.
That's
That's
ridiculous.
egregious.
All right.
Okay, who's number 5 now? Because we've got,
I think there's an obvious 5. I'm not
I
gonna
do
tell you-
too.
I think there's an obvious 5.
and his name hasn't been mentioned yet.
And he plays defense.
I'm going with Fred Warner.
That was
Yeah.
my.
It's such a tough call. There's so many guys on the Niners that are so close.
There
to each
really
other.
are. But to me, Fred Warner is amongst
He's
the
probably
best.
the best linebacker in football.
He absolutely dominated that game. last week.
I'll agree with Jay. I'll go with Fred
dominant.
Warner
Okay.
also at 5.
I had him as number 5.
what do you guys have?
Doesn't matter.
I had Warner.
I had him.
at 5.
On that same list you just referenced, Jay, Warner was 15th overall.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a superstar.
Now, we may be – I mean, we're coming off the Cowboys game where he just absolutely annihilated
I know,
the
but
Cowboys.
The
I like
question
him.
is right now.
Yeah,
the
and
question is not all time.
No, of course
The question's
not.
right now.
And I like him right now. I think he's playing great this year. I've seen him a number of times this season. He's flashed off the screen every time I've watched him. Number 6.
I'm going with, even though I'm sure I'll be in the minority here, it's right now, I'm going Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
He's been better than
I'm going
than
Brock
Debo.
Purdy.
I think I would say Purdy.
I mean, he's the number 1 ranked quarterback.
Purdy.
It's the biggest position in football. You can't win without him. Purdy at 6 then.
Purdy 6, lock it in.
Sold out, G.
I did have Kittle at 7.
Ayuk has been way better than Kittle this year.
Yeah, Kittle only had the one game. He really hadn't done a whole lot.
No, but
other
he
than the
looked
one
great
game.
in his last game.
Yeah, he did.
And that's what I'm going on. I'm like, I think that this is going to be the Kittle we see going forward this year.
Man, I got Debo Samuel.
Debo, Ayuk, Kittle.
I say Ayuk.
Okay, so it's Ayuk is 6.
No, 7.
Seven.
Or
Purdy
7, I'm
was
sorry.
6. Ayuk is 7.
Right.
We have 3 more spots.
8, I got Debo. I got Debo.
Yeah, I could go with Debo.
I've got Debo 8 too.
So that's Debo at 8. So far through 8, we have
Well,
7 49ers
1 Brown.
and 1 Brown.
Yeah.
9.
Jed
Kittle.
Wills. Jed Wills.
He's crazy, bro.
I had Charlie on here at number 9.
So you forgot about Kittle. Kittle hasn't gotten
Well,
in.
yeah, he's not in, and I had him at 7. So
Yeah,
I
I
still
got
have to
Kittle.
vote
I
for
got Kittle at 9.
That's fine.
So George Kittle at 9 and number
No,
10.
no, wait. Who was 8?
8 was Samuel.
Samuel.
Oh, okay.
One more spot.
I
before we
had
run
one
through.
other Brown on my list.
I got your boy Delpit.
I had Amari Cooper / Denzel Ward. I could go either way on it.
By the way, there's 2
But-
guys that were in the NFL top 100 on the Niners that we haven't even mentioned yet. Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah,
who's
their
another-
other linebacker's tremendous.
And I can't the safety. I don't even know how to
Oh, yeah,
pronounce
the
Huafonga.
Huafonga.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is his last name.
So who's going at 10 then? Is it Cooper? Is it...
Well, you voted for 2. G voted for
Delpit.
Delpit.
I'd say Denzel. And I love my guy Martin Emerson, but I'm taking Denzel in this
Okay.
game.
2 for Denzel Bull. If you go with Delpit, it's a split. If you go with somewhere else.
Who
For
you
Ward.
guys are going? Denzel,
I went with
Delpit.
Cooper, but when I wrote it down, I wrote Cooper / Denzel.
Cooper, Delpit.
No,
Denzel, Delpit.
Cooper.
Yeah.
So if you go Cooper or
I'll go.
Denzel.
I'll go Dre Greenlaw.
So it's a 4-way, it's split, and then you have to decide.
I think for this game, I'm going Denzel.
Yeah.
I think
I have no
Denzel's
problem with that.
Denzel's a guy who's playing extremely well. They need a cornerback with these receivers.
Now, there may be no more important player in this game than Amari Cooper. He's all they
Yes.
got.
But considering the quarterback and it's who would you want for this
See,
game?
I don't think so. I'll tell you who's an important player in this game if the Browns have any chance of pulling
Kareem
this upset.
Hunt.
Well, I was going to say Jerome Ford, but whatever
running back.
like the Browns' only chance is
running.
to run well. I don't know that they'll be able to, but hopefully PJ Walker has 14 passing
So
attempts.
no matter
in this
how
game.
you do it, there's 2 Browns and 8 Niners.
Well,
We're
could be-
gonna run through the list again real
could be
quick.
could have been 9-1.
It could
could-
easily
could
be
easily
9
be
to 1.
one.
If we went to 15, there'd be more Niners than Browns in the next 5.
It'd be
There would be.
15. It would probably be 13-2.
Yeah.
Dre Greenlaw would definitely be on it.
Yep.
Travarius Ward, their cornerback, is
Yeah,
very good.
he's another good one.
Their
Yep.
safety, I can't pronounce Halfanuga.
Yeah,
safety
yeah.
is very,
Right?
very good.
Yep.
But also, I do think there's a case. Amari Cooper should be on that list if we went to 15 for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Delpit is definitely in that conversation. Let's go through our top 10, though, as we voted on. The top 10 players for this Sunday's game based on just who you'd want on Sunday. Number 1, Trent Williams. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. Number 3, Myles Garrett. 4, Nick Bosa. Number 5, Fred Warner. Brock Purdy comes in at number 6. Brandon Ayuk at 7. Deebo Samuel at 8. George Kittle at 9. And Denzel Ward at 10. Rounding out the totals, 8 for San Francisco.
You add that all up, it looks to me like a Browns victory 13-10. When you add all that up.
Yeah,
This
right.
is an exercise for everybody that every single season when you say, hey, why don't the Browns go out and try to get so-and-so? We don't need that name. We got DPJ. We don't need that person. We got so-and-so.
A lot of people were telling me that this offseason.
We don't need. There's no DeAndre Hopkins can't help us. We have Elijah Moore. Boy, if y'all don't stop playing around, these dudes got top guys at every position, and we telling
Now,
people.
I do think
64 million. 64
I know.
million. That's
Yeah.
the answer. $64 million next year is the answer.
Yeah.
The cap hit of Deshaun on this team next year. That's why.
And
Because he was D-Hop was chasing every last dollar that was out there, and they couldn't give it to him
No,
because they have to
that
worry
may
about
be so,
$64
Jason,
million.
but that doesn't excuse the leagues of fans who
Oh,
are saying we
totally
didn't need
agree.
it.
Yeah, like they're just
completely
like,
Yeah,
agree
but,
with
but
that.
Bull, there's got to be a means to an end. Like, I can sit here and scream that I want a pony for Christmas. It's not going to happen.
The Browns could have still
There
paid
are-
him. There's always a
and-
way. They restructured a
and
million
I
contracts.
remember when we were discussing this trade, when we said we're giving up 3 first-round draft picks and this money for this guy, and I was saying amongst the reasons I hate it is because the salary cap hell we're going to live in down the road, and I was told, ignore the salary
That's
cap hell.
ridiculous.
Now, let's-
the
No,
Browns
it's
have
not.
the most cap space in the NFL right
Now they do.
So
No.
what? You
But
keep
but
pushing, kicking the can.
No, you know what? You
so
guys-
you don't want a great quarterback, so you don't have to pay him?
Two things can be true. You're right, and you got to live in the moment. You got to
Yeah.
try and win now, but you're right. When the Falcons traded Matt Ryan to the Colts last year, he was not on the roster. He was a $40 million cap hit on them last
How'd that
year,
work out
and
for
he
them?
wasn't on the roster.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has a $35 million cap hit this year for Tom Brady, who's golfing. So
Dude, he won them a Super Bowl.
But yes, and,
They did, so it worked.
And that's
And the
why.
Rams,
and
it
that's,
worked.
That's the point I was making a couple weeks ago. Is it's going to end badly. It always does with these quarterback contracts. It's what you do in the interim. It makes it
And
worth it.
2
Does it
of the
make it
5
worth it or
years
not?
right now aren't looking so great.
And
And I'm not ready to give up
I mean,
on
the
this
Falcons
season.
should have had a Super Bowl win, and they didn't. They
Right.
gagged away
Now-
28-3.
now-
The Bucks did. If you have a Super Bowl ring,
Rams did
you can
too.
live with a
Doesn't
40
matter.
$50 million quarterback hit.
The worst contract in Deshaun Watson's is Conklin's. This is the thing we get because
Or
they're-
Will's 5th year, too.
Oh, because linemen don't really have any crazy, like, they just kind of blend in. Conklin's contract is going to be horrible. They can't get out of that. Jed Will's 5th year is inexplicable. And by the way, if you talk about how you want to construct the offensive line, you're paying 2 of the most expensive guards in the entire league. So if we want to talk about
Not to mention Njoku and Will's 5th-year option.
so there's a couple of misses.
Those
where
are
it's like,
bad. The Conklin is bad. We've talked about it. It's bad. The Deshaun contract.
Yeah, but you have to pay the quarterback.
I
That's what
understand.
you do.
I'm just telling you. It's what you do between now and the end, because at the
Right.
end of this deal, everyone's going to be screaming about how horrible this contract is. Everybody
let's
is.
point this out, too. When you're paying your quarterback $890,000, like the Niners are playing Brock Purdy, look at the flexibility you have. When the Legion of when the Seahawks won their Super Bowl and Russell was on a rookie deal,
Yep.
Pete Carroll was screaming to media, guys, don't get used to this.
That's right.
Because soon our reality is we're going to pay him $30 million.
Well, they paid Patrick Mahomes a ton. He won the Super Bowl last year.
Yes.
The year before that, the Rams won the Super Bowl with Stafford, who was making a ton.
Bull,
the
you're
year
missing-
before that, Tom Brady was making a ton. He
You're
won the
missing
Super
the
Bowl.
point.
What's the point?
The point is,
Yeah.
when you have one quarterback that's making $890 and you have all that flexibility to bring in all of these 8 players in the top 10 in
However-
this game,
Yeah.
you don't have that luxury when you're Cleveland and you're paying your guy more than any other
But
quarterback.
here's the
You
thing.
could have-
that
they could have signed DeAndre
Nobody is bringing this up.
I agree with that.
The San
Yeah.
Francisco 49ers paid money and picks to get Jimmy G. And guess what? They took him to the Super Bowl, right? He went to the Super Bowl. If he was in Cleveland, we'd have never got rid of Jimmy G. He went to the Super Bowl.
I mean, I was screaming for Jimmy G. Y'all told me I
Jimmy
was
G
nuts.
sucks.
Y'all told me I was
hold on.
nuts.
sucks.
That's not even the point.
and he didn't take them to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
They took him to the Super Bowl.
They drafted Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And it was the worst pick in the last 20 years.
No, it's not.
He didn't
For what they gave up,
for
I
what
agree
they
with
gave
them.
up.
Yeah.
It's the worst. And you know what they did? They just said, get out.
That's it. They kept it moving.
And kept it pushing.
and I
Yeah.
love that.
The Browns don't
They
keep
doubled
it
down
pushing.
on stupid.
Don't double down. Get them out. And then you look.
But
then
if they didn't
pivot.
find Brock Purdy, Trey Lance would still be there.
You're right, but it made it easier for them to wash their hands of Trey Lance.
Because they
And,
fell
and
into
in
Brock
fairness,
Purdy.
Trey Lance never got a fair chance. He's only
No, he
played
did.
4 games.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah.